Hi, I'm Troy Colmer, and welcome to Mastering the Matrix. Today, I have our resident guest Pia back again. And how are you, Pia?
I'm excellent, Troy. Thank
Oh,
you. How
you're
are
always excellent.
you?
And today, we're going to be talking about AI again and what we think it is and what it's going to be doing. And our general topic's always on manifesting because my main goal is for you to understand that you have an immense power within you to connect onto this higher being and to manifest anything into your life to a degree, depending on what your belief system is. Yeah, so that's why I like to talk about that a lot. But first, we're going to just talk a little bit about AI because I think people need to start preparing. Do you think, Pia? They need to start preparing for the future, that your job may or may not be there.
I think that it's true that it may or may not be there, because just with what they're doing with technology and automated checkout and so forth and so on and all that kind of thing, and robotics. Um, for me, it sits in the camp of don't touch the sides, right?
Yeah,
Um, of that, like I guess I just see the world as splitting, and so if you're going to focus on, oh, one day my job's not going to be here, then one day your job's not going to be here.
yeah,
But
I know that. I know how that works in the manifesting world, but I think like I just go back to because I've been in business for a long time now, a lot of years, and I've had to pivot a few times.
Mhm.
And if you don't, like even now, say for I still work with the electrical business as well. And even now, that what we were doing before we used to do what we still do, power up buildings, or houses and things from the street to the house. But before we there wasn't many people doing it. It was like a niche. But now that
Mhm.
niche is fully saturated. And so I was speaking to Sean, my younger son that runs the business mainly the other day, and I was thinking, well, I think it's time to pivot again, mate, to start looking at other avenues again, because just like a tree, just like everything, you got to time. Uh, it's probably time. It's not really time, is it? The environment moves. You got to move with it.
Mhm.
Like the seasons. Like say we have 4 seasons a year. So we can't always just if we're always in winter, wear a jumper. If you just pretended that there's only one season, if it was say for instance now it's cool. So you just had your jumper on all the time, but then when the summer comes, you go, oh, then you've got no summer clothes. So you need to be yeah, that's not funny, Pia.
Sorry.
Maybe we need to
It's just an interesting analogy. I get it.
yeah, but we need to
We need to be fluid.
Granddad always said to be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, we need to be fluid and
Yeah.
watch trends and so forth and so on. And you know, I think that's a classic. One door closes and another one opens, right? Going back to the robotics and stuff, right? Um, so if you're of the mindset as you are, where like you could have easily just had the conversation of, oh wow, we're losing business because we're doing this thing. We used to be niche and we're not anymore, and we're going to have to go back out and get more customers. But instead, you shifted that to, hey, well maybe we just need to pivot the business, sign of the times, kind of thing, right? And that those two thought processes are very different. You know, one is a lack thought process of, there's nothing I can do to get out of this, it's just the way it is, and another one is proactive and responsive, right? So it's just
I know what you're saying, but if you say let's have a look at and see what things have already happened. And say for remember the VCR and the video,
mm-hmm.
it's not that long ago. It's only a few years. Okay? And remember Blockbuster,
Yeah.
they said that no, that this will never happen. Craig and I talked about this on the last podcast actually.
Mm-hmm.
That this would never happen. That there'll be no streaming and this and that. And then look, they just went broke. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like we still live in the world, even though that this manifesting thing is very real and all these things, but we still live in the world. We still live in the construct of the reality.
Don't touch the size, man.
Yeah, yeah, but
I get what you're saying, right? Like,
Blockbuster tried that trick and it didn't work.
well, maybe not. Maybe it was all part of it, right?
Yeah,
But um, that's just, advancing and following trends, you know. Um, you're just moving with the times, which is what you need to do, right? So if you're a cashier and you're not getting any hours anymore because everybody's going through self-checkout, right? Maybe it's a closed door and you find an open one, right? Like it's the same as me right now. Like one of my businesses has decided that it doesn't want to play nice to me anymore,
yeah,
right? So you create a new one, right?
yeah, but
More
that's
fun.
what I'm talking about.
And
So
that's exactly what you're talking about. That's right.
yeah,
So I think we're on the same page, right? So you're just going to pivot your business. But I'm just saying it's a different thought process. Just saying, oh wow, we're going to pivot and do something different is a different thought process than going, oh my God, I'm going to be destitute because I can't be a cashier all my life because a
yeah,
robot can
no,
replace me.
yeah, no, I understand now what you're saying. I didn't get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then if you start looking for something else to flow in, well, then it will flow.
Yeah. You just got to be open to it,
If
right?
you're open to something else flowing in, and that's
Yeah.
how it seems. That's how it's
And
always
and
how
if
it
your
works.
programming is such that you can always pay your bills, then you're always going to be able to pay your bills because your programming is that way, right? But if you start introducing programming that is, oh my God, inflation is massive and we're all going to lose our jobs and we're going to be destitute, then you're actually consciously changing your program to a negative thought form,
Yeah,
deemed negative thought form, to a different thought form that's going to put you in poverty, right? But what about changing that to, oh wow, look at this, a robot's coming in and taking my job. What other exciting things can I find out there to do? Right?
yeah,
Um, so, and that's the belief systems that you're talking about. So, um, where do you want to focus? Like,
yeah. But you don't want to just wait. You don't want to be blockbuster and wait till the end. You want to start to get ahead of the curve.
yeah, but if you're naturally looking for bigger, better, faster, stronger anyway, if you're positive and living in joy and living in love and stuff like that, and you're looking, then you're always going to be there anyway. Like it'll be a negative default, or you're not your negative, it'll be your default programming. Like with this business of mine that's just, decided not to play nice with me. I remember it from 3 months ago. I was just sitting there going, oh, wow, I've been really, really lucky because this is coming on and knock on wood, everything's going to keep going. And which you thought deep in there somewhere that maybe it won't.
Yeah,
And then that kept festering and going. And then I started having the thoughts of, oh, wow, I'm going to need to find something to replace this business because it's not going to last forever. Then I had to start going out and looking for things. And in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, this is not going to last forever. And then every month when the money kept coming in, I was like, oh, well, it's still going. Cool.
yeah.
Right. But it's of no surprise to me that it drived up this month. It's almost like I called it in.
But you wonder if it's a chicken or the egg thing, isn't it? Like you wonder if something was saying, Pia, this is something's coming here. So what about you start to pivot to um look at something else? Do you think something could have been telling you?
And that's exactly right. And you can make whatever meaning out of that. And I turn around and I say, okay, well, maybe it needed to be this way because I needed to see how bad it got over there before I actually pushed myself out of my comfort zone into where I'm moving, right? With my breath work.
Yeah,
And so yeah, you can totally explain it that way, right? And then you can turn around and say, also, you can say, well, would have been nice to have that buffer of that business and just trust that I'm going to move into my brother, right? But apparently I needed a bit of a push, right? So it's humans are meaning making machines, right? That's what we do. We make meaning out of things. So everything that happens is we attach a meaning to it. So I can attach both of those meanings to these things, whichever was working. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, X happened and I'm responding with Y. Right?
It's a
And same with you, right?
yeah, when you start to look into all this programming, like it's such a weird thing, isn't it? That like the way that it all works. If like each time you think you have it nailed, and then it's something changes, you go, oh, that's sort of not how that's working, you know. But I
Yeah,
think
well, you
that,
gotta,
but I think
it's,
the general concept, I think the general concept, like of say, like you go to the game store. I know we've spoke about it before. We go to the game store, we buy a game.
yep.
Now the whole program is inside the game,
Mhm.
like the whole thing, like from start to finish, from all the levels, everything.
Mhm.
But you still got to play the game,
Yep.
and then you got to do all the bits and pieces in it, and then the game doesn't really care if you win or lose.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't have any attachment. So I think that's where they're saying. I think that we're inside the game, and that the game has no attachment whether we win or lose. Doesn't matter. But
Exactly.
all the games are already, all the levels are already laid out, and we're just going through the layers.
And I guess that's why what I'm talking about when I say don't touch the sides, right? It's like you're there, you're playing the game, right? We're in the world, we're in the system, we're playing the game, right? But the game's going to survive. The game isn't going to change just because we get better at it, right? And so like the world that we live in is the world that we live in, right? Now, I can get better at living it, and I can get better at manifesting, and you can get better at living in the world and better at manifesting and better at creating our lives as amazing as we want them. But the world is still going to be the world.
Yeah, and that's it. So the thing is, like, so my thing, like I've been put a lot of thought into it because
I know you do. It's
I've
great.
been we're like nearly 30 podcasts. We talk about sort of the same similar sort of things each week,
Mm-hmm.
and so that each time I do it, it brings another thought on,
Mm-hmm.
and so my thing is to like max it out, max out the experience inside the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the thing, isn't it? That's why I've called it Mastering the Matrix, because the Matrix is the game.
Right.
And
Now, to clarify that, that's an interesting point. Actually, I think that deserves clarification because if you look at, and it's probably semantics, but let's just go over it because if you look at what is the matrix, right? And what is the game? So how I determine in my life is I say, okay, like the deep state and whoever runs them and whoever runs them and whoever is in control of this place. Um, I kind of look at it and go, they're playing a game, right? They're the computer game. They're playing the game. They know how to work the matrix that we're what we're calling the matrix. They know how this construct, the system works, that this world works, and they've mastered it, and they're not telling us all this stuff that they know. Now, from my perspective, learning to win at the game, I think that, and this is just off the top of my head, but I think that the A-listers and stars and stuff, they think that they've mastered the matrix because they're making all this money and living this life that they've made the rest of us want and stuff like that, or think that we want and so forth. But is that actually mastering the matrix, even because they know how to use the rules to their advantage to get what they want? Because I think they actually sold their soul to do it. Or is mastering the matrix turning around and saying, okay, well, you guys are playing a game, right? And I'm just not going to play that game. I'm going to just exit from that and say, yes, I'm in the same construct. I'm going to use the same theories and concepts that I'm now learning for manifestation and how the construct works. And I'm going to start writing my own game, programming my own game for me.
yeah, the game within the game.
The game within the game.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. So because that's what it is, right? Like we just said, we can't change that, right? I don't believe that I'm here to change the world. I don't believe I can change the world.
No, and I
Right?
thought that I think that yes, and I don't know if that's totally. I think we could if everyone got on the same wavelength, but that's just impractically can't happen.
Yeah, and then we'd break the system,
Yeah,
right?
the system would definitely break. But
Yeah. So if you look at this is good. I like talking about this with you because like I get to vocalize it because I don't have a lot of people to talk about it. But um if you so I've been looking a lot, and I think we touched on this last week. I can't remember if it was on the podcast or just chatting, but the seven seals and Revelations,
yeah,
right? And then comparing that to the end of the movie, The Matrix. And remember at the end of the movie, when Neo is told by the architect that it's just going to start over again.
yeah,
I think that they've broken it and they think they're out, but they haven't because it just starts over again. So Revelations, this first came to mind years ago, actually, because or at the beginning of COVID, because like my brother was saying, because he's right into Revelations, not religious, but he's read it all to try and figure out life. And Revelations reads like
what is Revelations?
Revelations is it's part of the Bible. It's I don't even know because I'm not religious, but it's part of the Bible that talks about end times. There's seven seals that need to get broken and four horsemen and all this
Oh,
other
right,
kind of stuff. And they say it's like when you're in Revelations, you're at end of days, right? It's the end times for us on whatever planet they think that we're on. And so when I look at Revelations, and knowing what I know now, I think that it's not end days. It's a transition, that time when the architect tells Neo that we're going to start again. So all the seals aren't bad. They're actually the good guys, whatever we can talk about what that means, not the white hats and black hats, but like the people that have designed this, the good part of this program, waking us all up so that we don't have to come back here. And the people that don't wake up recycle and have to start Genesis and the whole thing all over again, just as what Neo was told so we have an opportunity now to actually get out and stop recycling, which other people call reincarnation.
Yeah, such a when you try and run it through your brain, oh, it's hard to get that thinking. It's like
Yeah.
it's hard to comprehend even manifesting and things like even all of that stuff's hard to comprehend. And like when you're out and about and you've got in amongst a crowd, say, and you're looking at each person and you're thinking, like, each one of these people are creating their own reality in their own mind.
Well, that's exactly right. We're doing it all the time anyway.
Yeah,
We just need to learn how to do it consciously.
yeah.
Like we're just all like people are unconsciously creating all the time. They're on default programming.
But it's weird, isn't it? Because you start to think, well, like, is each person, like for me, say, like, am I creating you into my reality and then all the things around me?
Oh, that's a very different topic, isn't it?
You know what I mean? Like, it's just
I
like
do.
you start to think, well, like, is this just my reality? Like all these people in it, are they just part of the computer program and I've just created it? And,
Mm-hmm.
it's,
It's funny that you
it
bring that up
starts to
because
get heavy because, sorry, Per,
yeah,
you know what? It always, what comes back to me all the time is like my birth father, his house. Like, I just can't, it's so hard to get your head around that. Like, that's not chance that something like that can happen.
mm-hmm.
Like, how can that, you meet somebody like it, and then that's, a friend, and that's your birth father's house that you've never met. That's his house he grew up in.
Mm-hmm. So
Like, you
here's
just,
something for you to play with your dad. Just a thought. Um, because you brought it up a lot, so it's obviously a thing, and you're trying to figure it out. But instead of trying to figure it out, what if you just, and you can do this or not as you so choose, but said, okay, well, I had this experience, and it was, pretty amazing. Where else can I see that in my world, and just open it up for it to show up in other places, rather than fixating on the one event and asking the mechanics of it. See if you can't call it in different areas.
oh no, I do that, but I'm just saying, that's why in my head, like I just can't see that it has to be a program. There's no other way. Like it's not something that can be just chance, you know.
Yeah.
Like
And
chance
then
can't that sort of chance can't happen. But then, and that's why I was getting at about like if I just created all this in my own mind, all these people and even the kids and Kerry and you and everyone, I'm like, does the does it just get created?
yeah,
Like it's a weird thing, isn't it?
yeah.
Because when you close your eyes, right, like there's nothing, isn't there?
Well,
It's
there's
just
usually dots and stuff.
yeah, it's like black. So there's nothing. So there's no um like it's almost like reality stops.
Mhm.
You're sort of in it, but you're not because I mean, you've got your sense, you've got your feeling, but really there's nothing there.
But how amazing is that? Because you know how we were talking about rebooting when we go to sleep? We talked about that a
Yeah.
couple of podcasts ago, right? So you set your intentions at night because you can upload the system when you're sleeping when we're shut down. What if we could do that and it was just a blink of an eye and we're reprogramming?
Well, you may be able to.
I
Like,
know.
how do we know? This is the thing. And then sometimes I've been, like the other day, I was walking up the hill back from home, like I do this loop and it's got a bit of a hill there. And out of the corner of my eye, it was going funny. It was like glitching, like it was sort of like weird. And I'm thinking, like, is this a bit of a glitch in the matrix or something? Like it's sort of
Like the black
strange.
cat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's sort of weird.
Mhm.
And then, like, if you watch the surf and as it breaks, then the wind blows and then the mist goes up, and then you see like all the rainbowy type. You see all the energy amongst the where you can actually see energy. Then
Yeah.
because that's how the water molecules
Mhm.
get stuck on the energy, and you can actually see it through the fractal of the light.
Mhm.
So like we're just like all around us is just a sea of energy.
Yeah. Yeah. In the plasma. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
And that's why the Tartarian people that study Tartaria are talking about the architecture and pulling the plasma and the shape of the buildings that were sound healing and so forth and so on.
yeah, well, it's no mistake, is it? It's no mistake that the churches of old had the two pillars on each side. You know,
Mhm. And
the
then the archways
yeah,
have seven for all the notes, right? There's seven arches in each.
yeah. Well, seven. See, seven's the egg of life
Yeah.
because you got the circle in the middle and then six circles around the outside. That's
It's
because that's so it's sort of like it's all in amongst it.
It's
So
all
my
in
thing,
one.
so my thing is like, how do we master it? Like, how do we get better at the program? Like, there must because, like you say, imagine being able to just have a blink and change it.
Yeah.
Like,
But I think
if that could be possible.
things are speeding up. Like the veil is lifting, things are speeding up, right? Like once upon a time, we'd have a negative thought, and 20 years later, it would come to fruition, right?
Mm.
Things are speeding up or manifesting a lot faster, just like my story with my business, right? Um, and the diligence that we need to take with ourselves and our thoughts, right? And I used to say this years ago, like I was just like, man, was glad that I didn't have too much power to manifest because I couldn't keep my thoughts clean enough,
Yeah, well,
right?
that's why and that's a whole idea around meditation.
Yeah.
All
So
it
if you,
all meditation is just for your control of your
yeah,
thought form.
yeah, right. So we're so in automatic with our thoughts, with our breath, with everything. And if we can like and here we are, if we can't control our breath, like how do we expect to control our lives? If we can't control our thoughts, right? Then how do we expect to be in any kind of control of our body and everything like that, right? So it's when we start with those minuscule, well, I'm going to control what I can. I can control my breathing today. I can control how I walk today, right? Or the steps that I take, or there's things that we can. Because when we're looking at manifesting, you have to have a really clear mind because you're going to ask for something, you're going to put it out there. The universe is going to start constructing the building blocks to bring it in, and all that doubt and all the negative default programming and all the stuff's going to come into play because it hasn't happened fast enough. And you're going to change your mind and it's all going to crumble, or it's going to show up and you're not even going to see it. All right. So part of manifesting is like, it's not just knowing what you want, it's actually keeping laser focused and staying positive, and the expectation that it's going to come in.
Yeah, it's funny that you talk about that, because Craig and I talked about this in the last podcast about the magnifying glass, with in the sun, you got a sheet of paper in the sun, it does nothing. It just gets hot.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you get focused energy, you can burn it with a magnifying glass. But then if you get two magnifying glasses, both focused in the same spot, it goes quicker. And then if you've got this whole 6 people, all with 6 magnifying glasses, boom, gone.
And that's what we've talked about that with families and relationships, and a mastermind. Oops, sorry, can't get comfortable. Where the more people you have, like in a group, like I remember when I was younger thinking, I didn't want to do group healing sessions. I wanted to be selfish and have all the time for myself. And what I've realized since then is, like, if you're in a healing session, right, and now that's what I'm doing, I'm facilitating the breath work in groups, then you have a mastermind of energy of people all focusing, all with the same intention.
Yeah.
And that's way more powerful than one person.
Well, I think that's why Joe Dispenza, why he has so much at his events, why he has so much positive things that come out of it, is because all of those people are focused on the one thing.
Yeah.
Of that person getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And because of and that's why I do think that the times are changing to this new, what is it, the Pisces? Is it Pisces we're coming out of or going into?
We're going into Aquarius.
Aquarius. Sorry, we come out of Pisces. I keep getting them wrong. Aquarius. So yeah, we're coming out of one and going into another. And that's why I do think something like that may be happening.
Oh, it's moving way faster.
Because it's the time is just seems to be going like fast.
Now.
This year is just gone, like August is over, almost. And like that's 8 months just. It's just like, yeah, time is speeding up.
Mm-hmm. It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There was something that I heard once upon a time, not too long ago. Well, I've heard it from a few different sources. That the reason that in the city states we have the obelisks, the tall, skinny needle, to act as a sundial, because they want to know, those people want to know when the days start getting shorter. And you can't know that on a digital clock, right? Because they can mess with that. Like, we don't know how long our minutes are right now.
Yeah.
But I do remember, watches always being, too fast when I was, or too slow. Can't remember when I was growing up. But now we're on digital. We don't exactly know what's programmed into the time, but the sundials will know how short the days are. And so they need to know the shortness of the time as you get closer to end days. And I've also heard it spoken about in ancient scripture that the days will get short at the end, to lessen the suffering for those of us in the construct.
Yeah.
Do with that you will.
But this is the whole thing. Like, it seems to be always, for as long as we've been alive, there's always been something ending. Like, there's always been. But maybe it's the boy that cried wolf, because they keep saying it, but then so when the real thing comes, that people won't be prepared.
Oh yeah, no, but I do think, I think that we are in end days. I think we're in Revelations, but I think that it should be celebrated as an opportunity to get out of the dungeon programming, right? It's instead of, oh my God, all these terrible things are happening, go, wow, well, they're happening to wake people up so they're not asleep and we can change our destination.
I hate that wording, waking up. It doesn't, it feels degrading.
Well, I get what you're saying, because I have trouble with it too, because it's kind of been hijacked, and waking up means,
yeah, you're
that pharmaceutical industry is bad.
Yeah.
But when I talk about waking up, I talk about waking up to the truth of who you are, not being aware of what's happening in the world. There's two different things, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And so all of this comes back to the AI, and I think the AI, like we were talking about before,
Rich AI.
uh, artificial intelligence, just
I know,
normal, the computer program,
technology.
not the technology, yeah, not
Okay.
the program that we're actually living in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's like we were discussing. I think that's not artificial. It's just very, very good programming. Like the computer, it's not actually thinking.
I think that part
It's
of
just
it,
it thinks in possibilities
yeah.
or probabilities.
Yeah.
I think it could be doing that, but it's not actually connected like us to the ether that can just get a thought out of air.
Yeah.
That would be artificial intelligence if it could get a thought out of air and be able to.
And we've been getting slowly programmed through movies and everything that machines will one day be able to think.
Yeah, and I don't think so.
No.
Like I think that we're the only ones that have that ability,
Mm-hmm.
humans,
Mm-hmm.
inside. Because if we're in a program,
Mm-hmm.
like why would they? And we were talking about this before. Like why would they program that in for that program to be taken down by a program?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
I can see how humans, but maybe because everything revolves around money, right? Like, say if we didn't need money, or if there was no money, um, well then we could all. But then again, so we could say, oh, we don't need money, but then like, how would we get clothes? And unless we could get AI to not AI, well, I say AI, but in the context of what we're talking about, robots and things to make all our stuff. So say we could get them to do 100% of everything, and then we could go and be humans and enjoy our life. But then we'd still, how would you um, go to buy like a go to buy plane tickets or have a have a house to live in? Like how could all that work?
Well, I guess for me, that's something that we're moving out of Pisces into Aquarius, frequency rising, planet splitting, whatever, right? However, whatever language you want to use to discuss the change that we're going in. I think the new frequencies are already here, which is why everything's speeding up so quickly. We're going to keep getting stronger and resonating higher and stuff, but it's it's not one day to the next. It's progression, and we can't take our old way of thinking into a new world. Like the density of it doesn't fit, right? So let's just call it the age of Aquarius because that's the language we're using, but in the age of Aquarius, we can't fathom what it's going to be like because we don't know, and all we know is the system that we're in, and there's this fear of change. Like, when you talk to people about the CBDCs, for example, right? Central bank digital currencies. And we know the financial system's corrupt. We know that our money is worthless. We know all these things. Yet people are so anti CBDCs because they think it's a controlling thing that they're fighting to keep the broken system as it is. But
Yeah,
we're
but
going to be
sometimes the broken system's better than the other controlling.
door number 3, man.
Hey,
Door number 3.
yeah,
So we don't know what's coming, right? So I don't know what we're going to need for clothes and what we're going to be doing, but I'm open to finding out. Like I don't want to take my thinking from a time that's broken into a time that potentially isn't broken because I can't see a different possibility. Right? Like, for example, money, paper, fiat currency. It's a Piscean symbol. Trees, paper, Piscean, right? Currency as we know it is a Piscean symbol. There are those out there that some decoders that I follow that um, that think that we can't be in the age of Aquarius yet because if we were already in the age of Aquarius, we wouldn't have money, paper, because it's a Piscean symbol. So going to a different currency is not scary. Going to the currency they want for us might be, but going to a different one is just part of the transition, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying that it has come up, right? Like that it comes up that way. So if we want a future that's different, then we have to be different to accept the future.
Yeah, it's going to be different, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you're taking the rigidity of today,
Yeah.
in
I think it's the same thing. We
it
just
can't
can't,
hit tomorrow.
yeah,
It
we just
doesn't work.
can't see how it's going to, because we haven't experienced it yet. We can't see how it's going to work. It's just like if I tell somebody about the manifesting thing,
Yeah.
so in their mind, they can't believe me because they haven't experienced it.
Yeah. Which is it's a bit of a misnomer, but yeah, that there's a concept there. I think a good analogy that's just coming to my mind now is a relationship. So you have this shite relationship, right? And you
Have a
think
what?
of a relationship,
What'd you say?
right?
A shite?
Yeah.
Do you mean shit?
Yeah. So you come out of a relationship and it wasn't very good and stuff. And you're like, well, the next one's going to be better. The next one's going to be better. And then you go into the next relationship and it's exactly the same as the other relationship, right?
Yeah.
The names and faces change, but it's still not a good relationship. Because you haven't worked on you, you still have the same programming, you still have the same belief systems, you're still attracting the same thing. So you're going to recreate the same thing in a different package. So if we want to create a new future for ourselves, then we have to not take our old belief systems and our old programming into that future. That's what I'm trying to say. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to have a way to interact. We'll have a way to exchange. It will come up. It will exist. It has to exist because that's just the nature of how we work. We don't
Yeah.
need to, but it is today.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. But the thing is, so we need to, but so we need,
But
so what we need, yeah. So what we need to do, well, we don't need to do anything, but is to like, how do we max it out? Like, how do we go into this new direction with full blaze force?
if I stop paying attention, my thing, you do you, right? I think my instant answer to that, and I'm not saying I'm right, but it feels right today, is is to not pay attention, like to cut the ties of anything that's heavy that's holding you back.
Yeah.
Right? Like white hats, black hats, politics, like all the deep state story is dense, right? And it's like we're picking it up and we're holding on to it and we need to let it go. Don't touch the sides.
Yeah.
Just like a bad relationship, and you just need to let that shit go. Like you just got to let that shit go because a relationship with our system is incredibly dysfunctional.
Oh, yeah. And it's not getting any easier either.
But we're giving
That
consent to
system.
it constantly by paying attention to it.
Yeah. And that's why they created social media. So
Yeah.
that, uh, and to do business now, like you're almost forced to do social media. Like it's almost nearly impossible to not do business without it.
But what if it wasn't like that? What if you could create something that wasn't like that?
Yeah, well, I'm open to it. I'm all ears.
Right? Like it's just a belief system. I know plenty of people that are still running their businesses word of mouth. When I was running my practice before, right after I met you, it was all word of mouth and going tickety boo. It's only when I tried
Yeah.
to
Well,
social media
the
that it
electrical
stopped.
business has always been word of mouth.
Yeah. Right. So you don't have to. If your electrical business is all like you've got evidence right there that there's other ways.
Yeah. But to um to do what I'm doing now is
Mm-hmm.
you need social media. Like it's virtually impossible. Even like to do our podcasting,
Mm-hmm.
like it's
That's something
you
that needs
can't,
to be.
like that's brick. See, brick and mortar definitely you can do word of mouth, but this is digital. This is digital business,
Mm-hmm.
and because
Yeah.
we're into the digital age, aren't we?
Yeah.
So it's all so we're in the digital age. So
If you're finding people, if you're going to be working online, then you're going to be looking for people that are online. I don't know. I'm still trying to stay open to the possibility that you don't need it, but you never know, right?
Yeah.
Like anything's possible,
Oh
right? You
yeah.
know that.
Yeah. Well,
So
we can manifest something, some other system in, maybe, I don't know, some other the digital system that's, maybe there is a better digital system coming. Who knows? I don't know. But I don't, like, you can see what's coming, that even the way that we're doing digital now is going to be a lot different,
I
because
think so.
within the next year, I think that they're going to use facial recognition to be even able to go onto the internet.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, I think it's going to be because of
But now
the.
you're calling it in, you're spell casting.
I know, but I'm also a realist.
Right? So, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? Like, because if you're free of it, it doesn't, then the tools, you use the tools don't use you. So does it matter? Like they're using facial recognition now anyway. We're all data mined anyway. Even if you're not on social media, you leave such a hole that they know exactly where you are.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
Right. So
yeah, but I'm just saying it won't be. Uh, there'll be an intermedia between us and the. I suppose there almost is now, isn't there? Like you can be banned off all social media pretty quick if they want to be.
mhm.
Yeah,
And you know,
so I suppose that's probably not much difference.
you and I grew up where there wasn't any internet, so I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah,
Like,
but it was all brick and mortar back then, brick and mortar business. It was
with
different.
newspapers and word of mouth and stuff, and it worked just fine. You
Yeah,
know,
and
and there's something to be said
I
for
wouldn't
that.
mind going back to it. Like
If we
that wouldn't
yeah,
bother me. Like if the internet stopped tomorrow,
yeah, then
and
you wouldn't know that Canada's on fire and Hawaii's doing this and the deep state's doing that. Like you just
yeah,
wouldn't know. Your world would be what you've created instead of what people are trying to bring into your world.
yeah, and I think it was a lot easier for them to control us back then, because all we had was a newspaper and a TV channel.
I don't know. There was less programming tools.
No, but it was mass psychosis. It was like it was easy.
Well, only for those that read the paper. Right.
Yeah,
Now
but
we're
there
so
was no.
dialed into the screen that everything, whether it's an advertisement, commercial, whether it's a television program, movies, anywhere you go is programming.
Yeah,
Subtle, little, repetitive, death by a thousand cuts programming. So
yeah, okay.
before the internet and before the phones,
But it's
I
not unless there's going to be some sort of nanotech that's going to come and take down the which it could be. It's in the movies. There's a show on Netflix about it. There's a nanobite goes in that someone invented, and it just takes out all power, anything powered, takes it out.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so that could happen. Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's in the
I guess
movies, it could happen.
for me, I look at it like, but on this thing about bring back the drop in, right? Remember when you're a kid and you just have to get on your bike and ride to their house and knock on
Yeah,
the door and see if they're home, right?
yeah,
You just drop in. People would just drop in. It's like, hey, I'm in the neighborhood.
yeah,
Right? And now you have to book appointments and times with your friends, right? Because we're all so busy. Well, some people are really busy. And there's also we can't change gears that fast anymore. Like you have to prepare for something new to happen because we're not in the present. We're somewhere else. And so
yeah.
when we
I actually forgot about that. You've just brought that up about we did used to drop in.
yeah, bring
I'm
back the
just
drop
dropping
in,
over,
man.
like. But even now, if we go to someone's house, we always ring.
Yeah.
Say, "Oh, you're home," or we
Or is
got.
now a good time? Or
Yeah,
then they have time to prepare and you're like, oh,
yeah,
so
yeah.
what
Before
we
we
do.
just like ding dong. Oh, he's here. I just sort of pop in.
And if they were mopping their floor, they're just like, hey, have a seat. I'm just going to finish mopping my floor. I'll be with you in a second. Help yourself to the fridge, right?
Yeah,
Now it's just like,
I
no, no,
forgot
no. I
about
got to
that.
do my hair. I got to mop my floor. I got to do this. The blah, blah, blah. I got to pick it. And nobody.
Yeah, yeah, that's gone.
Yeah. And even people that say they want to bring back the drop in, they really don't want to bring back the drop in.
Yeah,
Because when you do it, they don't want to eat. Because we're not in our bodies anymore. We're not present.
yeah. That's weird, isn't it?
Mhm.
I forgot all about that. The drop in.
So the internet has taken us out of our bodies too. It's taken us out of the present moment, which if you're not in the present, then where the hell are you? You know?
Yeah. So how do we? So I think that we can master it, you know. I think we can hack it to what we've got. So I've been trying to think of ways to uh like how to manifest better and quicker.
You're manifesting all the time. You just got to focus
Yeah, I understand that, Peter.
it.
So, but there's hacks to do it, you know.
Yeah.
So purposely manifesting, because that's what I've been trying to work out. Like I'm in this new thing that the new community platform that I'm doing.
Mhm.
Like I'm thinking that doing 3 days, like a 3 day sprint, I would say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where all we do is we just focus on the, like you say, the present and the manifest of what you want to manifest. Like just full solid focus for 3 days.
Mhm.
So then it would be like like you have a wave, but you're going down, you go up big, then down a little bit, then up big. So then it gets you
Yeah.
up.
That
So
was good.
yeah, so then you can
Yeah.
climb better, and then you'll manifest quicker. And so part of that, I was thinking the other day, I was thinking, what about in saying those 3 days, I just do it for 3 days. So before you went to brush your teeth, you would just stop for a minute, close your eyes, and visualize yourself going to do that before you did it, and then go and do it. Do you know what I mean? So then it program in the you're programming in the manifestation.
Right. So, and then just be completely present to the act of brushing your teeth kind of thing.
Yeah. So then you go, oh, I've just manifested that, and then do that. So then then you have breakfast, then you
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So then you would before you have breakfast, you visualize yourself going into the fridge, get your toast, get your bread out of the freezer, whatever, go up, visualize yourself, put it into the toaster, get it out, put bread and butter, butter it up, do whatever you normally would do,
and then just go, I just created that.
and then go and do it, and then go, oh, thank you, universe, and just go, I just created that.
Oh,
So
what an interesting exercise. I
yeah,
wonder
so
what
that's what
would
I'm just
happen.
thinking, like of how to program in hacking the matrix, how to program in a manifestation quicker, like how to purposefully manifest. So
Yeah.
then when
As
you
if
go to
everything that is already that like taking ownership for everything you're doing and having already is a manifestation of
yeah,
your.
yeah, so you are purposefully manifesting those things, but then the other 4 days you would allow for the universe to give you something back. So I'm giving the universe something because I'm manifesting in this and I'm creating the action. And then on the other 4 days, leave it open to receive, to follow, and then follow the road, like be present in the road to the journey or something.
Hmm. But that has them split. How could you do it where you could still have fluidity, right? So that you didn't need the 3 and the 4 days where it was just like, okay, I'm
No,
getting up.
but it's just like riding a bike, but you
Mhm.
can't just hop on the bike and or driving the car or doing anything. You can't. You need to practice.
Hmm.
So I'm just thinking like, imagine doing 3 days a week, just full practice manifesting, like full before you do it, and then you could even do it while you're walking and be a few steps ahead. So you're walking to getting out of the bed, and then as you're walking, you're seeing yourself doing the brushing your teeth or whatever.
I think you'd be hard pressed to get 72 hours straight of that.
Nah, yeah, no, but I mean, yeah,
I think
but
if you tried like an hour a day the first day and then two
yeah,
hours.
but I mean, in those 3 days, like you're trying to do purpose manifesting.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just to be
like
fully aware of everything that you did. It's kind of like the
yeah,
martial artist that knows exactly how his body moves and exactly the energy that is
yeah,
going to, you know, I
yeah.
think
So
that.
yeah, so I'm just thinking of how to um because there is a way that you can. There was, oh god, what's his name? But it was back in the early 1900s. The mastermind or something, mind mastery or something. France. It'll come to me. But he had like these 21, 26 weeks or half a year, and then you would do, but he would do visualization on the chair. You know, you go into the same room at the same time, and then you would visualize, um, do visualization technique. It's all about learning how to visualize.
Hmm. What do you think? Because I do with my teacher, I do this thing called spatial referencing, right? Which is, notice the chair that you're sitting on and what's supporting you. Notice how you're leaning on the back of the chair. What's the difference between you and the floor in front of you or the ceiling above you, right? And to the left, notice the tree, notice your kneecap, right? And all this stuff and the distance between to know exactly where you are in space time, right? Because we need to know where we are.
Yeah.
So you just kind of like blanket reference points to know exactly where you are. So that's what you're talking about. I guess I'm bringing that up because I'm thinking, well, I do that already anyway, but you're talking about now not just noticing.
I'm talking about bringing reality into your, uh, bringing the manifestation into your reality.
And the awareness that you are actually manifesting it.
Yeah, yeah. Like
It's just an awareness. You're doing it, so you might as well become aware of it.
yeah, purposefully,
Yeah.
purposefully
No, I think
manifesting.
that's kind of cool. I'm just floating it around in my brain and how I would incorporate that and if I could incorporate that.
Yeah,
But I'm down with that. I'd be up for playing with that. I'm going to play with that today.
yeah. But with the 3 day thing, I was thinking like to also to do that is make sure like, make it harder for yourself to no alcohol and, eat healthy and do so much exercise and like do a full, health as well, like full body health, full mind health, like the whole mind and body experience for 3 days.
Hmm. Be a whole lot easier if you just went out into the bush.
Yeah, but
Cheating a little bit,
but
but
you want to, yeah, but you
you
want to
can do
be able to,
workshops like that, Troy. You can
so
do your
the idea,
mm-hmm.
so the idea is to, create the muscle, you know,
Yeah, I get it.
to build the muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And so to build it, you got to go to the gym. Say you want to build your arms up, right? You got to go to the gym and do the weights to get
Mm-hmm.
bigger muscles.
Mm-hmm.
But then remember too, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing, the law of diminishing returns, isn't it? Is that the law? And like if you, get your arm and put it against your body, it'll just wither away.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't use it because the body
Mm-hmm.
goes, oh, well, don't need that anymore. So I'll just get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
So if you, purposefully want to get better, you know, well, not better, but hack the matrix. You know,
Well,
well,
I think that it's something that, like, because we're being bombarded all the time
yeah,
with the negative default. Like, we're just always being bombarded. And I think you got to be on it diligently all the time, right? It
yeah,
is so easy. Like, I catch myself all the time going, suddenly I'm engaged in a conversation about the deep state. I'm like, oh, I said I wasn't going to do that. I'm touching the side,
yeah,
right? And it's like an electrical fence now for me. It's like
yeah.
you go in and grab it. Oh
But
shit!
it's too hard. See, but it's too hard to do it all the time. You
But
know
you
what I mean?
have
Like you
to,
need
like,
a
if you
rest.
want to master the matrix, you have to do it all the time. Like, you have to be on
Yeah,
yourself all the time until it becomes your default
yeah. You
programming.
want to become automatic. That's why
Yeah.
it's like riding a bike. You know, you got to learn to ride it. So you got to learn to practice,
Mm-hmm.
and then so then you do these little sprints where you get better at it. You know, so then you start to go up the hill. Like if you get all hills,
Mm-hmm.
so for you to get better at the bike, you just can't go all flat or downhill. You know, because
Why
as soon
not?
as you get to a hill, as soon as you get to a hill, you'll, die on the ass.
Mm-hmm.
And so to get better at the hills, climb hills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we do a bit, you do a bit of hardship through the week. It's not even hard. It's just, um, yeah, not coast, do it a bit tougher than you would. And then you still got 4 days of coasting
Yeah.
and then, a little sprint and 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
But then it starts to open your mind, because then once you start to manifest, maybe things will start to come in quicker, or not quicker, but whatever the reality is you're trying to manifest in. Quick is not the word. Quick is probably the wrong word. But purposely manifesting. So whatever it is, like if you're after a relationship, like you just manifest it in. The same as you manifest that one out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or like you've done with your business, like you manifested that to stop, you know,
No,
slow down.
what was I thinking?
Yeah. Without even thinking about it.
And I watched myself for the last couple. I'm like, I have to shift this, and it was just
Yeah.
there, like it was this pervasive, like, yeah.
And with the electrical business, I did a bit of manifesting too, because I was slowing down a bit. And I went, oh, this is not the cricket. So I started to do like I did when I first learnt it. So when I going right back to when I first found out about how manifesting works, I would I was working that hard doing the manifest, working in electrical,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't get above like about 150,000, And the accountant would say, you need to earn more money. Try. I go, okay, how can I earn more money? I'm doing every single thing. I can't work anymore. I can't work any harder. So then I started this manifesting thing, and then all of a sudden it just started. Different contracts were coming in and bigger things, and then next thing you know, we're up to 500, 600, 700. Like it just started to climb up again.
Yeah.
And because I haven't been in the business for the last, few years, I suppose, because I've been on this journey. And then the electrical business was going down, because I had taken all my energy off it. Yeah. So what I've done is gone back and refocused, and yeah, now it's started to pick up again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm manifesting in,
Mm-hmm.
um, things that are coming in, and I've got you do the gratitude thing and say thanks
Mm-hmm.
when they come in, and feel it come in. That's why I'm thinking about these 3 days. So it's not just about and your health. Like I manifested in me my under 19% body fat, or 20%. Sorry, I'm at 19. So that's just sitting at 19 now. Like I'm just under 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I just eat the same. I don't really do anything different. Hardly anything. Like it's still the same, but it's just it's just because everything's a program.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to get this other business up and running, because I want more people. I want to hang out with more people that are doing it. It's good, you and I. Yeah, because you and I, how fun it is.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. I
Like
know.
wouldn't it be great? Like you're just everywhere you're walking, everyone's going, "Hey, Troy, we're manifesting this and manifesting that," and it's just like it's just such a good thing. Like the people that I have helped, like they're just going gangbusters,
Mm-hmm.
and not just in like the money side of it, because they may not have money, but I mean just in health wise, because health is one thing that you can take full control of to an extent, as long as you get the food, and things like that. But more than 80%, you can full control it.
You can full control all of it.
Yeah, well, that's right, but easier.
Yeah. Fully
Yeah,
control it, relinquishing control.
yeah.
It's very
Anyway, so yeah, that's something for you to think about, Pia.
yeah, no, I'm going to. I'm like, yeah.
That's a
So
3 day, like a little 3 day sprint. So I'm thinking of calling it, or a manifestation mastery or something.
well, I think that denotes for me like something that I've been working on, which is really listening to my intuition,
Mm.
And I even did it yesterday. Like I got a really strong no for something and I did it anyway. And that's just dumb. I wonder what the ramifications of that are going to be. Because I've been doing this thing where it's just like, you know what? If you're in your body and you're being present to what you're doing, and like you're talking about the manifestation, I'm going to brush my teeth and this, I'm going to do be present, then you're also going to have the messages and the intuition to say that's good for me, this isn't, and so forth and so on, right? So I kind of looked at as an expansion of what I'm doing with the intuition already.
Yeah, yeah. And you've already got the
It's just
intuition.
it's just the
The
more things.
ladies, the ladies are lucky because they've already got
Yeah,
all
city.
the intuition. We're just
Things
the
that you can
protectors.
do. Yeah, the more things that you can do to be present in your body and to be completely present, the better, I think. Like we're getting bombarded, and you too, even as man, of getting bombarded with messages all the time, with
Yeah,
with feelings, like it's always there, right? Our spidey senses are just going constantly, right? They're just turned them off to the black mirror, and we've turned them off to the busyness, and we've turned them off to, the worry and stress and so forth of life. And, that's why I'm like, heck, if the internet went down, would that be a bad thing?
No, it'd be great.
Yeah. If you would have asked me a month ago, I would have said, no, I make my money through it. But now, like, whatever.
Yeah. But everybody would it'd be a funny scenario because everybody would have to go back to brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Because you think about how much work is on the internet. Like,
Mm. I don't think it's going to happen. I
I don't
personally
think so either. It's just going to get more on the
think.
internet because even now, like even going out to restaurants and things, that's starting to go because you just ring up. Like yesterday, Sean and I had Indian. He goes, "Oh, do you want some Indian?" I go, "Oh yeah." Rings up, gets the Uber thing, whatever it was, and in comes the Indian. I was just like, "Oh, how good's this?"
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not good, but it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like it.
Going out, like when I go out to restaurants, I want to be served. Like I like the whole experience of being
Yeah,
waited on and stuff like that. And when I first came to Australia, I was just like, what do you mean I have to go to the counter and order my own food? Like that's just detracted from the whole experience for me. I wanted to sit down and want to wait there come out. And now they have all these little things where you have to, like, you can order on your phone and all they do is drop the food. And it's like, what am I even doing here?
yeah, and that's
No
why.
point even going out. Right. It's not, there's no experience. There's no interaction.
Yeah,
There's
well, it's a bit
nothing.
like the shopping, isn't it? They can't just get rid of all the cash registers in one go. They've got to do it slowly.
Yeah.
So they get people trained up to just um yeah, nothing happens fast. Like it's always slow because
We're frogs in the pot and it's boiling.
yeah,
Don't touch the sides, man. Just jump out.
yeah,
Just jump out of the pot.
yeah. Well, anyway, Peter, it's been another exciting podcast. It's
Absolutely.
yeah, something to think about. It's something that we might even that's something I'm thinking of incorporating into the community, trying to work out how to get this thing up and get the manifestors going, get all the people in the same
Maybe
exciting
we could
journey.
do a big like I'm going to be doing it with the breath work. I'm doing an abundance breath work session online at the beginning of September. But if you got all your people together and said, okay, we're going to do a Zoom session of setting intention of whatever, and anybody that wants the intention of X, right? Business, but their own, relationship, but their own, like whatever, and just sit in that group mastermind. Like I think Lynn McTaggart does the Power of Eight, and I've been meaning to do it and wanting to do it forever, but getting 8 people together and why that's the magical number for manifestation. But
Yeah, that's not quite right. It's actually 7. It's
yeah,
six, it's
you did
5, it's 6 plus the one in the middle because that's the egg. That comes out of the flower of life.
so there you go. So if you did something like that,
Yeah,
right, and you had a little bit of a hey, let's like get your community together and see if there's people that just want to jump on and do some sort of group intention setting and sharing and getting others enrolled to what they're looking to create.
yeah,
Just thought, I don't know.
yeah. There's so many things that we can do.
Just
Yeah,
do them, man.
yeah.
She says, having not finished her breath work.
Yeah, well, you need to get all that going. So then
I'm almost done. I don't love the website, but at least it'll be up. So
yeah, right, yeah. Pia, what's it called?
yeah,
Yeah, what's it called?
that's what called.
The website.
I don't know yet. That's the
Oh,
part
right,
of
yeah.
it.
So we'll know next week when you
Maybe it'll be launched next week.
right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the people can hang out till next week then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks, Pia. Thanks for your exciting input, and hopefully that a few people will start to think about this manifesting, and then AI. I don't think it's not AI. It's just you just got to start to look at your job and think, well, if it's a computer job, you got to think, well, do I need to pivot? And then the manifesting thing, maybe you can adapt some of that in your life as well. So,
Be
all right.
present.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, if you want to learn more, head over to troycolmer.com. You'll find out more over there about me and what I've got. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much.